Okay, so now let's look at assignment number 13. Okay, assignment number 13. This is the support and the pulley assemble models. The pulley assemble models. So this was the one where we went to chapter 9 in our textbook. And I gave you the assignment of working through this chapter and doing and reading the procedure to put these items together. Through this process, at the beginning, you create a subassembly for the support, which is going to be the L bracket, a bushing, and a washer. And you put those together as a subassembly. And then you put together the full assembly. Okay. So there's two models that you actually create in chapter 9 here. Okay. The first one is what we call the support assembly. And the second one is the pulley assembly. Okay. Now in this one, you are just pulling all the parts in and you're going to create the assembly model, practice the assembly. And the reason I'm having you do this through the tutorial is because they get into more detail and you can get like deeper into each one of the commands and they have you kind of move around and do different things rather than just watch me do it. I wanted you to go through and get the benefit of the extra information. Okay. Now, what are you handing in here? Let's look at this assembly or this assignment 13. So you will notice, oh, actually, I'm going to go somewhere else first. Let me go to the module. So the learning plan itself has the actual individual pieces. So you do not have to model the pieces for these two little assemblies. You're going to go to the learning plan and you're going to notice here that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 part files, models to download. All right. Put those all into your working directory. All right. And leave and use the same names, everything that you have here. Just download those into your directory. They're done for you. And then you're going to use these as you work through that tutorial. Excuse me. You are not making any detailed drawings of these. You're just using these models to practice the fundamentals of putting an assembly together. Okay. Then once you do that, and we go back to our assignment number 13, then you're going to have two assemblies that you're going to be pulling, that you're going to be uploading. One is for the support assembly that's worth 10 points. And it's got these 3 parts associated with it: the L bracket, the bushing, and the washer. Okay. Then you're going to have the pulley assembly where you're going to pull in 2 support assemblies, the axle, the pulley, and then 4 bolts, 2 on either side. Okay. All right. Now let's see what those look like. So I have those pulled up in Creo. So this is my support assembly. All right. Before I take now in this case, because I don't have a border around it and I don't have different, dimensions on it, I'm going to just do a screenshot of my assembly here. Okay. So I'm going to kind of go through here and I have to make sure that I uncheck all of my planes and such. Okay. Because otherwise it looks yucky. Okay. I'm going to scooch this assembly up into the corner here. And I'm going to take, I'd like 2 views of this because one of the things is it's flush on this side, but that bushing sticks out the backside, which is intentional. All right. So 2 views of this one. So scooch this up in the corner. The other thing I need to see, you'll notice that we have our L bracket, our bushing, and our washer. None of them have those little rectangles out front because they are fully constrained. So when you do the screenshot of this, you need to do Windows Shift S or however you're doing your screenshot. I want up in the corner. I want to see the design tree, and then just this far of the actual model for the first part for the support. And then I'm going to turn it around so that I can see that this is coming out the back. And I'm going to do that one more time. Windows Shift S and the whole corner. Now, right away, if you have any of those rectangles out front here, you did not fully constrain it. So then you're going to have to go back in, for instance, click on this, do an edit definition, and you might have to add something. Now, you will know when you're in here, if you're fully constrained, if this part turns gold, right? You learn that through that tutorial, okay? When this turns gold, you're fully constrained and you can hit the OK button. Now, Creo will let you hit the OK button without this being fully constrained. And that's when, so this one is kind of a hard one because there's that one, but let me go into here where I've got, let's say I get rid of this second coincident and I delete that. Okay. It's still going to allow me to hit OK here, but my purple part here, that bushing is now purple. It's not gold. But if I hit OK here, notice what happens. Look at my design tree. Do you see those two rectangles out front? That's how I know. Okay, that's how I know you don't have it fully constrained. And you can't get rid of those unless you're fully constrained. So then you have to go back in and you have to figure out what's the deal. So when I click on this and I go like that, you see this, I forget what it's called, the globy thing. You'll notice that anything that is white is locked down and it's constrained. Anything that is still colored, so my blue here, this can go in and out. I've got to identify how to lock that dimension down, all right? And I do that by creating a new constraint, saying coincident, and I want this front face to be coincident to that front face. Now I turned gold, okay? Now I turned gold, and I should be okay. And then now when I go back, notice those went away, all right? Now, the reason that the washer was unconstrained was because its parent, it depended on the bushing. Okay, because I probably selected the bushing face for the washer to be coincident to. So it won't be okay until the one before it was, or what it depended on. Okay. So those are things that I look for, and that's why I want the design tree. If you don't have the design tree, I'm not going to give you points because I need to see, is everything fully constrained? Okay. So again, if Creo lets you do it, doesn't mean that it's good practice. And we're teaching you the good stuff here. All right. All right. Let's look at the look at the pulley assembly for this one. Here too, you're just creating the model. We're not creating any details or drawings of this. Notice that we have it fully together here. We're going to scooch this up, making sure that all of the parts here that you pulled in are now fully constrained. Now, the other night, someone asked about copying and pasting different elements. If there's multiples of the same thing, you can do that, but it really, you can take it for what this is worth. I pull them in separately each time because then the constraints that were done on that first one that I copied on are not copied over to the new one. Otherwise, I've got to go in and I've got to change all those constraints. If I pull it in as a fresh part, now there's no additional constraints on it and I can just start going where I need to go. All right. So, so you can decide how you want to handle that. In some cases, it may be more efficient. I just find pulling them in is just easier. Also, remember, we talked about, and the book says this too, do not mirror parts over a center line. Okay. You have to pull them in separately. In the assembly mode, mirroring over the center line is not a good idea. It can make things a little wonky. All right. And so again, you want to kind of be able to see all the parts here. All right. And then you're going to be pulling in the support subassembly that you created. That's on either side here. And that becomes one color, even though it is separate pieces there. It comes in as that its own part number. Everything is constrained. And then I'm going to do my Windows Shift S. And this one again, because it's not on a drawing border, is going to be a screenshot. So something like that. Making sure that you're turning off. I'm going to put these all on. Look at how yucky that looks. We want it to look pretty. So unselect those when you hand that in. All right. Any questions on this one? So this is really like your introduction to like just kind of getting your feet wet, using the book tutorial to walk through this process and give you like deeper information. All right. So required to do that through that process. Okay. All right. So there's that one. No questions? Anybody listening to me yet? I hope so. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yep. I've got it here. No problem. All right. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording this one and then we'll come back with the latest assignment.